薄いのアホ。
プリズムパワーメイクアップカードレディー。
Hi everyone. This is Present Me cutting in for a second to apologize for the audio quality in this episode. Unfortunately, something went wrong with Jessica's audio track. My romantic partner Jeff spent hours trying to clean up her audio, and this was the best state we could get it in without spending thousands of dollars. Thank you for understanding, and I hope you still enjoy our discussion. Now I'll send it back to my past self to begin the actual episode. Welcome to Shojo and Tell, where we discuss shoujo manga and tell who's hot and who's not, discuss themes, and generally geek out. Today, September 10th, 2017, we'll be discussing the second half of Cardcaptor Sakura, which is volumes 7 through 12, plus the first volume of the new series, the Clear Card Arc. I'm your host, Ashley McDonald, and I'm joined again by Jessica Tan.
Hi.
So, this is about the second half of a series and the start of a new series, so, I'm gonna give you the spoiler warning. If you don't want to hear all the spoilers about how this ends, then you should not listen to this. I'll try to keep the beginning, less spoilery, but, the end will come out. Just don't listen if you don't want that to happen. You can listen to the first episode. I feel like that's okay.
Yeah, we were very tangentially discussing random things, and some stuff comes out, but I don't think we gave any major spoilers.
Yeah. And, I guess if you watch the anime and have not read the manga, that's also, you probably have enough context to... There's not, anything hugely changed from the anime for this arc, as far as I remember.
I don't know. We
No?
didn't discuss.
Okay.
I'm not too sure. It's been a long time since I've watched it. I think there might have been more changes in, the first half. Wait, when was the Final Judgment? Final Judgment was first half, right?
Yeah. The first half is certainly longer, because they make up a bunch of different cards.
And they have a lot of fillers, and a lot of,
yeah. So CCS, where can you get the CCS for the legals? It's published by Dark Horse, so you can buy some 3-in-1s digitally, although apparently I've looked at it and it says $6.99, but apparently one of them is $11. I don't know, stuff changes. There's also Tokyo Pop originally licensed this. Tokyo Pop is kind of dead, kind of not. Died for a little bit, is maybe coming back. I don't know, Tokyo Pop's weird. Last time I had only read the Tokyo Pop versions. This time I read a combo. I read 3 of the volumes, one of the omnibuses from Dark Horse, and then I read the last half as a Tokyo Pop. I don't know. I don't really get too iffy about translation differences normally. It's whatever.
I don't know, but Tokyo Pop back then was really loosely, they were really trying to Americanize things, so I feel like you do lose some context in it.
Well, so, okay, I think it's even more confusing because Tokyo Pop released it twice. The first time they released it,
did they?
It was flipped, so it was definitely Americanized.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
So the second time, I think they tried to be less about that. I don't know if they actually retranslated anything, though, so that's possibly...
I don't think they did. I read the flip version, and I think I might own both. I definitely have the collector's set with the pretty boxes.
Yeah.
At least one set. I don't know if I have one set as in one half of the series. I don't remember because I don't know where the box is. And I don't remember what things look like on the outside. There's a red box and a blue box, and each box holds 3, and I don't know if I have 4 boxes actually instead of 2. Anyway.
This is very Jessica Tan.
Yeah, this is very me. I'm sorry. It's been a really hard 2 weeks. Anyway, but my point is, I don't think even when they re-released it, I don't think they did much. I really don't think they maintained a lot of the cultural things that are easily lost in translation.
Maybe
they did it better. They did it better with later series that they did, but CCS was too early for them, and I don't think they retranslated.
That would make sense.
But I could be wrong. Be wrong. But that's so much work.
There are instances in the reading the Tokyo Pop version where I'm like, this is an editing error, or there's one volume where there's just clearly a speech bubble and there's no words in it.
Nothing in it. Yes. I was so confused. Like, why couldn't you just have moved 2 words from this
No,
bubble
I
into
think
this
I'm
bubble?
like, did you literally just forget to put the words there? I don't know.
We should look. We should check it out. Let's see if we can find another
Oh,
version.
yeah, exactly. I
I
didn't
mean,
have the
I might
Dark
find it.
Horse version to compare, so like I don't know what was supposed to
Yeah,
be in there.
yeah. I'm thinking very heavily of buying the Dark Horse digital editions so that I can like again stop breaking my physical copies. I've read them so many
They're
times
so
and
dead.
they're really old now. So yeah, I know. So I think and like reading the Clear Arc digitally was like, oh, it's so pretty and crisp, and I don't have to worry about like the color turning yellow, like some of my older
Yeah,
manga.
that's true.
Yeah, and it's so much easier to move digital copies.
It is. I mean, it's
I just
true.
re-download them.
Yeah. Okay, to add confusion to this CCS publishing fire, the new Clear Card arc is published by Kodansha. Okay, at some point between Tokyo Pop dying and after Dark Horse had relicensed the initial series to publish it themselves, I guess after that point, I'm pretty sure Kodansha USA like basically stopped being, or like I guess it used to be Del Rey, I think is how the story goes. And then basically it rebranded to be like this is an actual offshoot of Kodansha, the Japanese publisher company. So like they get first dibs on all like Kodansha titles. I think how this goes. It's complicated publishing. Hashtag publishing. You want it to be simpler than it is, but that's just not how life works. Yes, so you can buy the Clear Card arc. It's definitely available digitally, the first volume. Maybe by the time this episode comes out, it'll be available physically. Comes out in mid-November. Yeah, fun stuff. Okay, so what happened in these volumes that we read, minus Clear Card arc, because we are sectioning that off to a very clear section in the end, so that if you only want to hear about the classic things that you have already read, you can just not listen to Clear Card arc things. Right, so plot of this is basically Sakura has already captured all the Cloud cards, and now she must convert them to Sakura cards. Why is kind of the bigger question of the whole arc. And other things, like they keep feeling Cloud Reed's presence, and they're like, but he's dead. What? So then who is Cloud Reed? Why is he here? What is happening?
Yeah, and who's this mysterious transfer student?
Yeah, you can never, any
dun,
transfer
dun, dun.
student, don't trust them. That's what I learned from anime.
Yeah.
That's what anime has taught me.
It's always those new
students.
students.
Why are you here?
Inclusion is bad.
Why are you giving in to globalization? You think you can just move wherever you want? Is there anything else that needs to be generally explained about this plot?
I think that's it.
So how did you generally feel about this second half?
I mean, I just love the whole series.
I love everything equally.
So, kinda. I mean, well, I'm trying to think a little more in depth. It is hard because the first time I experienced this was when I was like, how old were we? 10? 11?
Yeah, we were the age of the characters. It was much more like appropriate then, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I appreciated rereading everything, but I still love it all, and I still like. I feel like there's no. I could totally read all 12 volumes straight and be like, wow.
Really?
Yeah, but I found that like the second arc is very much more about. I think like a lot of the. I don't know what I'm saying. There's a lot of like external changes in Sakura's life, but there's also a lot of inner change. Like in the first half, she's very consistent and she's very sure of like who she is and who she likes, and her relationships with people are very much the same throughout, except for Syaoran. Like she's very consistent with every other aspect of her life except capturing the cloud cards and meeting this new mysterious Hong Kong transfer student and becoming friends with him. But in the second half, there's a lot more turmoil in all of her relationships. Okay, so like her relationship with her father changes a bit when, you know, at the end they realize he's half of Cloud Reed's reincarnated self. And she sees him a little differently when she starts seeing him in other people. meaning like in Clow and in Edo, who's the other half of the reincarnated Clows. And then like her relationship with her brother changes a lot when he makes the sacrifice of his magic. And I don't know, all of her relationships change except her relationship with her school friends, I guess. Although we do see more of them in more depth, I think, in the second half.
Oh, we do, all right.
Oh
Some illicit dates between a teacher and Rika there.
yeah, oh yeah. Should we? I don't know if I noticed that when I was 11.
Probably not.
Did you?
How did I
I might have
feel?
been like, huh, interesting, but just
Huh.
like kept going.
As kids are wont to do.
Well, there's also a lot of like same-sex relationships in all of Clamp's work, and I don't think I don't think I ever noticed it either as a child.
Well, I mean, the thing that is both awesome about Clamp's storytelling and also, or at least in CCS, but also the thing that I find is like why it's hard for me to find momentum with CCS at times is
Mm-hmm.
that like a lot of things are not given the traditional storytelling weight that you might find in another story where there's like an epic evil that you must overcome and like go defeat and like a lot of like characters thinking a lot about moral complexity of relationships and like do I or don't I like them, but like in Clamp it's like there's some under maybe evil underlying force, but it's not really evil in the end, and nobody
Mm-hmm.
like questions. There's no questioning of Yukito and Toya within the universe, even though like you might expect some pushback in real life to same-sex relationships. But like in
Mm-hmm.
the universe, it's just very accepting, which is a trend that I think storytelling is actually like taking more. But the thing that like in Clamp I find hard to follow is that like because there's no real like and here's a massive thing that's coming up, it's kind of like each chapter kind of seems like it's leading up to something, and then the chapter will reset and it'll be like Sakura is going to school today, and I'm like, wait, what? Something like major just happened at the end of the last chapter, and then by the end of the chapter it gets back to that, but I'm like, what? Okay, cool. Like, so I just find it very hard to be like, maybe it's because I like dark, depressing things, and I just can't deal with all the cheeriness.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with the flow of CCS. I feel it works really well for me. I guess I enjoy just like the happy-go-lucky heroine and her happy-go-lucky friends, and like there's enough depth and sadness, and like Tomoyo's relationship with Sakura just always hits me and makes me kind of sad, but also very like, appreciative of the strength that it takes for a friend to love someone else the way that Tomoyo loves Sakura. And there's enough of that like dark side while the rest is mostly happy to keep me very involved, and it's not so overly happy that it's fake or
Right.
insincere, because even our happy-go-lucky heroine realizes the pain and suffering that is part of her life. Like she lost her mother at a very young age, and she feels a lot for her father, partially because of his loss and his grief and the struggles of losing the person he loved so much. And then like when she meets that grandfather, she's very empathetic for his lost granddaughter, not realizing his lost granddaughter is her mother. But like, there's enough sense of weight in that sense that for me, all the kind of like floofy school and like whatever, like the her relationship with her brother seems very funny at times, but also very deep at others, and it works for me.
I don't know. It's like I do feel that that's there, but when I'm reading it, there's something missing that's like I can't fully get into this. And, like I'm slightly bored. I can't quite like I want to be, but I'm just not.
I'm the opposite. Like I'm trying to read, like trying to find the time to read was a struggle. But as soon as I found the time, I like couldn't stop. And then I was in bed reading, and I was like, wait a second, how did it become 1 a.m.? I usually go to sleep at like 10 p.m. It's like,
Wow.
wait, where did the time go? I'm like, oh, it went into finishing this when I thought I was only going to read one volume. Ha ha ha.
Oh, can't just read one
Right.
volume, Justin.
No, I apparently can't. Like, I'm really good at marathoning. Things I really enjoy, I just keep going if I can. And that's the problem. Especially now that Clear Arc is going to very slowly come to me.
Very,
Sadness.
very slowly.
Sadness. Unless I resort to illegalness. But even then, it's going to come to me
Oh,
slowly.
it's still gonna be slow, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Anyhow, patience is a virtue. One that I sorely lack.
yeah, just stare at a cute picture of Sakura. Like,
I will. Although, I find pictures of Yue the most absorbing. Like, he's just so pretty. Like, that hair, those eyes. Like, oh, I could just stare at him all day.
okay.
Hey, you did say we were going to talk about
That's
who's
true.
hot and
I
who's not.
mean,
And we've not really done that before. So, that's my two
that's
cents.
okay. You're into Yue. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But not
The long
Yukito.
flowing hair. No. Not really. He's too
He's
cute.
too cute.
He's too cute, like adorable cute. But his other self is like, I don't know, darker and much less
He does
happy
have eyes.
and
Yeah,
much
his
more.
eyes are like.
Yes, yes, and much more snarky. And you know I like my snark.
Yep. Maybe that's the issue, is that like in CCS I'm like, yeah, all these people are like pretty okay, but I don't have I'm not strongly attached to any of them.
Yeah, I think like that might be part of the draw of the anime because there's more time and more depth. But I don't know. Did you prefer the anime? Did you like them more when you were watching the anime as opposed to
Oh
reading it?
no, because the anime drags out the things
The
that I don't
fillers.
like. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured. I don't know. I just really like Clamp does enough character development and enough. Thinking back, I'm like, wow, what was the point of this happening? Sometimes,
Yeah.
right? But at the same time, like they do put a lot of pieces together that fit, and like I like that I'm not necessarily aware of them as they happen because it's just like a flow, and I don't necessarily feel like, oh, this is one thing, this is one thing, and I don't have as much trouble with the chapter breaks as you apparently find. Like,
I find the flow of the story like semi strange.
yeah, I mean, I think their use of dreams sometimes is like disorienting for me.
Really.
Yeah, because like she's always dreaming the same thing over and over and over again, right?
Yeah. Gotta go to
Like,
Tokyo Tower.
like
Like,
all the time, all the flipping time. It's like the only landmark I'll ever.
if you go to
Recognize
Tokyo,
in
you're
a
like, I
dream.
gotta go to Tokyo Tower.
Yeah, I mean they use that in everything that they do too.
They need to upgrade to the Skytree, the bigger, better, newer radio tower.
uh,
I did appreciate the second half, I think, more than the first half. And certainly more than the first time I read any of this. If I had to pick a favorite character, I might actually say Nakaru/Ruby Moon. Just because.
Really?
Because
Why?
they're like, oh, whatever, I don't have gender. I just pretend to be a human. Who cares? Lol, I'm funny. Like, I bother Toya because, I don't know, just felt like it.
I mean, my favorite is Toya.
Toya's good too.
I'm pretty sure he's my favorite. Did we discuss this last time? I can't remember. It was too long ago. But like, he's my favorite. I love a lot of the characters, but if I had to pick just one, he would win.
He would win the Hunger Games of characters. Great.
So
You want to do a big walkthrough of biggest things? Okay, so key moments are first we get introduction of, as we mentioned, mysterious transfer student Ariel and his little people that are analogous to Kero and Yue in Spinel and Nakaru. It seems a little on the nose for them to be like, who could it possibly be for so long? But I'll let it slide.
well, they weren't actually trying to hide it.
I know.
Like Clamp never tries to. I mean, not never, but like in CCS, they're never very subtle. They're purposefully like, oh, she sees him in a dream, and she doesn't recognize him, but obviously we do.
Yeah.
And there are moments where the characters actually meet him in his Cloud Reed getup before he wants them to. So he actually wipes memories away.
That's true. That was a technique,
right?
yes.
So, like, yeah, so Clamp doesn't care that we know who he is and who they are.
Yeah.
Like, we know as soon as they're introduced, basically. Maybe not immediately on that page, although with, like, the transfer student, you know, it's like, clue, 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 he's important. But I think that, like, Clamp makes it purposefully not subtle who they are. And, like, Nakura is always talking about how she wants Toya's powers and how, like, she wants Yuki to disappear, basically, right?
Yeah, I don't really know what the deal with Nakaru is. That's why I like them.
I see. I mean, but
their motivations are so confusing.
I don't want to assign a pronoun. I don't want to assign a pronoun in terms of, like, he or her.
That's why I said they.
He or she, rather. Wow. Yeah, but I mean,
they're clearly presenting as female.
Yeah, presenting as female, but, like, Spittle is always questioning, why are you dressed as a girl? So it makes me feel like maybe they identify more as male. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is that, like, in a lot of the situations where we see them, they're trying to, like, poke around and tease Toya, but, like, actually trying to get his power.
Yeah.
Too. Not just toying. Like, the toying is fun, but
and of course, Toya is the only one who knows, like, what's actually going on from most of anything.
Yeah, and that's another thing that always happens. Sakura is always the last one to realize something's happening, or, like, she's always being kept in the dark. Like, we always know way before she knows anything. She's always dreaming those dreams, but we are the ones who remember the dreams and actually can identify who she's dreaming about.
Yeah.
And Clamp is like, oh, yep, you guys know, and we're going to keep giving you all these hints and just all these, like, clear instances where we see some plotting, and, like, Erio doesn't, like, even you were saying this earlier, there's no evil, right?
Yeah.
There's no, it's all for, ultimately, everyone's good. And Clamp gives us that sense throughout.
Although I think some serious things happened for them not being evil, like fake drowning Sakura at one point.
But she's never in danger to the point where she's actually going to be hurt.
Sure, that's the plan.
She might not know that.
Yeah.
She doesn't know
exactly.
that. Right. And then, but, like, the moments where, like, either Spittle-san or Ruby Moon are questioning him, Erio is always very, like, he has that sinister looking smile, but the things that he does shows that he cares. And, like, they're questioning, like, wait, is this a good thing that we're kind of bullying this little girl? And he's kind of like, hee 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 hee. Hee hee hee. Like, but they don't even know his motivation.
Which is semi the confusing part, I think. I'm like, why wouldn't you tell? I guess the point is that he wants them to act however they would naturally act, so that they are also not corrupted by the motivation. So that they're also
more threatening, I guess. Because he wants, like, he needs her to feel that sense of danger. The whole point of his forcing her to transform the cards is so that she has the motivation to do it without making it dangerous for herself. So, like, the fact that her guardians are actually attacking her for real, like, that's better than if they were pulling their punches, because if they were pulling their punches, they wouldn't actually be competition for Kara and yeah. So, but I think we know from pretty early on that he's on her side. Or maybe I just remembered from reading it.
Why? Because he's, like, at least outwardly nice to her, like, in school settings?
Well, the one time she has a fever and, like,
he's like, I didn't mean to do it to you.
It's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were sick, I would have held off if I had known.
Right.
You know, and then he, like, heals her fever or something, right? So I think that very early on the reader knows that he cares and that he's not evil.
Hashtag not evil. Hashtag doing it for your own good.
Yep.
Except he's kind of doing it for more selfish reasons than that, but sure.
I mean, part of it's selfish, but part of it is for for her own good, but also for Yue and Yuki, because I think part of it was that, like, she wasn't powerful enough and he was going to fade. And forcing her into these situations made her grow more powerful. She just didn't grow fast enough. Which I guess brings us to the next...
It does bring us to the next point. Big development. So Yukito starts
Yay!
disappearing because he's actually Yue. Yeah,
Literally.
he's like literally disappearing. Like they didn't draw him.
They drew him. He just started
Okay, they
fading.
didn't draw him with like deep enough lines.
He was transparent. And there were a few people who noticed this, namely Toya and Sakura, right? Who witnessed it.
Yeah. Yeah, like Toya definitely witnesses at some point, and Yukito's like, "What?" And Sakura knows at some point.
Oh, but she doesn't actually like she sees him, but she thinks
Oh,
she
right.
imagined it, right? Because she doesn't actually find out what is happening until it's too late.
Till it's too late. Too late for Toya, because Toya
It's amazing.
because he loves Yukito and realizes what's going on because he's the only one who ever knows what the heck is going on here. Like, about anything. Truly. He gives up his magic powers that allow him to know everything that's going on so that Yukito does not disappear. And Sakura, walks in after that has already happened and is a little sad about it.
She's very sad. She's very sad. She feels very, very, very sorry because she's too weak to support her guardian. And now her brother had to sacrifice a big part of him in order to protect his loved one, who's also someone that she feels responsible for. Even though instead of a master servant relationship, she wants to have a friendship with him, like she still feels responsible because
Right.
it's her lack in power that drove him to almost extinction.
There's only one UA in the world, man.
And he's beautiful, and I'm
And
so
he's
glad he didn't disappear. I'm so glad he didn't disappear.
Precisely.
But much as I love Toya, I was pretty annoyed with him for trying, like, the way he kept trying to drop hints to Yuki. He kept being like, "You need to figure this out."
I know. I was like, Toya, can you just like be upfront for like
Yeah.
once, just this once?
And then every time he tried, he would get interrupted. But come on, it's so important. Are you really gonna wait till the last minute to make it, like, to get the point across? Oh.
I'm like, Toya, Nakaru doesn't follow you like to your room at 10 p.m. Like, like.
Or does he?
Or does he?
But anyway.
Maybe.
But I think that I really enjoyed the conversation between Yue and Toya when Toya was like, basically, I only really want you and Yuki to keep existing, so I'm happy to give up this power. My only condition is that I won't be able to protect my sister as well anymore, so you're going to have to take that responsibility. And Yue's response is just like, oh, this is when I feel it's real, and this is when I...
Yeah, he's like, I have feelings!
Yes. It's so great.
I have feelings that aren't just, I want to be with Clow.
At that point, we didn't even know his feelings for Clow. We just knew he
true.
didn't want a new master. Like, that he was very resistant to having a new master, and that he was like a bit of a curmudgeon-y character. But at that point, it's like you start seeing more feelings in him, and he becomes so much more real through that conversation.
Yeah. The part of the confrontation that actually really got me was that, I guess it was Yue, was like, you won't be able to see your mom anymore. And then Toya's like, it wasn't fair that I was the only one who could see her anyway. And I was like, oh, feelings.
I know. I know. I love how everyone knows he can see his mom. Like, what?
Right.
Like, how does everyone know everything in this anime? Manga. Except, the people it affects. And wait, hold on. Along those lines, like, how does Yuki start becoming so aware of things, too?
I don't know, because now he's Toya, oblivious. I guess.
Yeah, he's super... Oh, maybe. But, like, he was super oblivious before.
I know. Well, that's kind of actually I think the weakest point of it is actually... I don't know. I would kind of have liked to explore more how not having magic, like, affects Toya more and, like, changes who he is and, like, that changing dynamic, but they were kind of just like, nah.
Well, they did show his exhaustion, and they did show his like lack, like his loss of that sense of knowing where everyone around him is. Like he was
Yeah,
surprised.
but that doesn't convey how the people
No,
around
I
him
know,
like
but
affect.
that's clamp style. They let us draw our own conclusions, right? Like they give us enough feels, and then they back off and let us finish feeling on our own. I think part of the point is that he doesn't change. Like he's still the annoying older brother who's secretly so protective of his sister that like I love when we finally find out why he hates Syaoran so much.
Right. He still knows
Like
that.
he still knows that, and he can still sense that. Like he doesn't have any magic powers, but when his sister is killing her fingertips and then the rest of her hands, like he knows why.
He's up on that.
Yeah, so I feel like he's still who he is. It's just that, like, that one aspect of him, and we do see a bit of that, but I think the take-home message is that he's still going to be him, and he's still going to treat her the same way, and he's still going to treat Yuki the same way, and he really doesn't want either of them to feel bad, or to feel sorry towards him.
So superhuman happy feels.
I mean, it's not all just happy feels. Like, it is a sacrifice, and he knows that, and he makes that sacrifice very willingly. Still, is a sacrifice. So it's not like all happy.
Yeah.
But
I just want him to like have a moment where he's like, you know what, Yuki, maybe I'm a little jealous that you're more observant now. You're welcome, Yuki.
well, he like basically scolds him for feeling sorry. So I don't think he's gonna
and then
turn
Yuki
around
could be like,
and
thank you,
be,
Toya, and then they could kiss, and then it'd be fine.
well, we're never gonna see them kiss. We don't even see them like. We never see them doing anything. Come on, please.
It's implied. They're in his
We're
room
like,
a lot. Stuff is happening.
Wow. Yeah, but for all of the original series, they don't even know each other's feelings.
True.
Like, that was half of the point. That they were unaware of each other's feelings. Like, Yuki was like, the one I love the most is him, but I don't know how he feels. And then Toya was like,
Classic.
I can't tell if he realizes. And Toya's like, I know how I feel, but I don't know if he knows how he feels. Like, and I don't know if he knows he's not human. Right? All this.
That's really a big question that he should probably figure
all
out
these big
before we commit to a relationship.
Yeah, it's like you need to know your own identity as a super creature.
Yeah, like that's
Super
really
magical
key
creature.
to making this work. Like, which kind of goes into the next big thing. So Sakura, oh poor Sakura, thinks that she's in love with Yuki. Or she is in love with Yuki.
Is.
That's true. Yuki is like, please no, though. Basically.
Well, no, he's so much nicer about it. He's like, I know you love me, and I really appreciate that. But don't you just love me like family? Don't you just love me like your father? Isn't there someone that you love more?
He's like, please think of somebody that you love more.
Yeah, and like, doesn't he have a conversation later with Toya about how he felt bad saying that to her because he knew that wasn't all of it?
He was like, I knew it wasn't true. I was just trying to let her down gently.
Like, I knew it wasn't completely true, but true enough that, I could use it.
It'll be true if I say it.
Well, it was more like they both realized it wasn't quite true, but they were both willing to accept that it was true enough, and that there was someone else that Yuki loved more.
Right.
And that person's someone that Sakura also loves so much, that they obviously, like, this is like Sakura channeling Moyo, where as long as the person she loves is happy, she can be happy, to an extent.
Yes. And I did love that Sakura was then like, is it Toya? He's like, yeah, it's Toya. And she's like, aw.
Yeah. And I think part of it is also that she clearly sensed that they had feelings for each other that way. and like so she wasn't oblivious to that, and she also probably is still feeling guilty about not having the power to support her guardian when her brother could make that sacrifice and keep Yuki and Yue alive. So like I don't know, she was just it was so hard. It was so hard for her.
Oh, poor fifth grader.
So hard. Big feels, big
Guys,
feels.
we should backtrack to when Syaoran almost confesses to Yuki, but then Yue appears and is like, no, stop, pause, pause for a second, and, clear your mind, and then see who's really in your heart, and then it was just a page of Sakura montage, so...
Yeah, that was pretty good. I think that's also why I love Yue so much. Like, he's such a curmudgeon person, seemingly, but like he's such a person. Like he understands
He's
people.
tsundere. He's tsundere.
And he tries to protect them, and he tries to make sure that they go the right direction.
Oh, Yue.
It's so hard. Life is so hard. I want guidance too.
You're like, where's my
Guidance
Yue?
from the moon. Yeah. Seriously.
I don't know. I'll
Yeah,
go find a boy who's disappearing for you, and
Wait, what?
I'll go find a boy who's disappearing, and then just assume that they're Yue. And
Wow. Okay.
okay.
As soon as you see someone going translucent, let me know.
Yeah, cool. I will.
When his lines are drawn in,
I know.
let me know.
And he's not solidly drawn.
Yeah.
It's Yue.
But, back to themes, like not really like knowing who you love the most is a pretty big theme here, and what love means is another big theme here because again, like the familial love, the romantic love, the friendship love, it's also blurred in this particular series. And I kind of admire that, but at the same time I'm kind of like, whoa, is this like what is going on? Especially like the teacher student love, and like the really really older person and younger person love. Like
Right.
there's a lot of. I mean, I really don't think I really don't remember questioning all this when I was reading it the first time as an 11-year-old. But rereading it this time, I'm like, wow, they really do kind of delve into how you can't always differentiate like love for a family member from love that like blurs
Romantic
into
love.
romantic love. And there's no, I forget, are Sakura's two friends cousins in this, or was that just like the English dub making them cousins?
Which two friends?
The one who never opens his eyes,
Oh,
what's his name?
Yamazaki.
Yamazaki, yes. Yamazaki and Chiharu.
Are they cousins?
I can't tell. I don't remember them being cousins from
I don't remember
rereading, but
that.
like I feel like that was in the English anime dub.
Oh, well,
nonsense.
that's creepy. Let's look it up.
Sorry. Maybe I just made that up.
Okay, in Cardcaptors, to justify the random acts of strangling as mere sibling rivalry, Chelsea is written to be Zachary's cousin, and Zachary is, yeah. That's not, no, I don't think they're cousins. Although, I mean, it wouldn't shock me if they were like, yeah, let's explore incestuous love, too, like...
No, I wouldn't be shocked either, but I was pretty sure that it was the English dub thing.
You are correct.
Yes. I remember things from when WB was still airing Cardcaptors. So long ago.
Yeah, I mean, lots of has been said about CCS and exploration of, like, every type of love, which includes forbidden types of love.
Mm-hmm.
And it's both interesting because it is something that, like, personally in my own writing, that it's like, yes, I don't feel that we ever actually seriously talk about what the difference is between a friendship sort of love versus a romantic sort of love. Like, we're never, like, clearly defined that. So it's always fun to, like, explore those things. So it's fun to see it explored in this. At the same time, it's kind of like, but because it's always so either neutral or cheery, it's kind of like, I don't know, Clamp. I still don't really think that it's acceptable for a fifth grader to be dating their teacher. Like, I don't, you can't.
Definitely.
You can't convince me
But I
of
think
this.
like the Yeah, the only love that they really differentiate, or like they even try to define, is like with Sakura as the center when she's trying to figure out who she loves the most,
Right.
and like at first she thinks it's Yuki, and then she goes through Ario saying goodbye and moving back to England, and then she's shocked when the same happens to Syaoran, and she's like, wait a second, this is actually breaking my heart.
Aw.
And I do love him, but like then she questions what type of love she has for him, because she does sincerely love people in her life in a lot of ways. Like her relationship with her friends is very, very deep, and she invests a lot of herself in her relationships with her friends and with random strange old men who miss their
Yeah.
grandma, like, who end up being her great grandfather, but like
She
she doesn't know
doesn't
that.
know that.
She's just a very
She still
she
doesn't know
doesn't know
that.
that. So she's like this very she's a very like she's a person who's just happy to love other people in whatever way she can. So I think that for her it's especially challenging to figure out like how it is that she does love someone. Whether it's as, a father figure, or, oh, what was that whole thing with like the moon power being attractive, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like, that was kind of weird, but also kind of
The moon's very sexy, okay?
it is very sexy. I totally understand how that could be real. Um, Being drawn to the moon's power. But I mean, that was like a very interesting way to make Sakura and Syaoran rivals in more than just the cards.
Right.
Because again, we discussed this last time, but in the anime they made that much more apparent that they were actually rivals for the cards.
Right.
But in the manga, they weren't really rivals for at all. Like the cards always went to her. She was the only one who went through the final judgment. In the anime, he went through it first and got crushed, and then it was her turn. So like, and he had some cards. He owned some cards in the
Yeah.
anime. So I think like they emphasize the rivalry there in the anime because they have more time and whatever. But like in the manga, the real rivalry was like for their love interest, and then that becomes explained away as like a mystical, magical thing.
Yeah.
And for Sharan, that makes sense. But for Sakura, it was like more than that. And it's more than the resemblance to her father and yada yada yada. But she's able to figure out and to redefine that love that she has for Yuki when she realizes that like he and Toya are both in love with one another. Like she's able to somehow resolve her feelings with a lot of help from Sharan.
Oh
Yay!
my goodness, Sharon.
Oh, I love those handkerchief exchanges.
All right.
Like, that's something else you can keep an eye out for. A manhole hand me a
Oh,
handkerchief
okay,
when I'm
cool.
crying.
Yeah, I mean, if a man hands you, Jessica, if a man hands you a handkerchief while you're crying and you don't immediately get married, I don't really know what you're doing.
Well, also, pinky promises.
Yeah, I mean, you have to immediately pinky promise to get married.
Basically. Yeah. Okay, where were we?
Right, still talking about love. I guess, yeah, one of my big issues is that it kind of feels like Clamp is trying to have their cake and eat it too, with like, we want to show that both the lines are both blurry and not so blurry, but you know what? We're not going to show one of the biggest, like, physicality is a big part of romantic love and also, like, somewhat friendship love. And they're like, we're going to avoid that part. Like, avoid that.
I mean, part of it might be their audience, though, right? Like, who are they writing for?
Okay, true, but then you get
And when
you
were
get
they
into
writing
arguments
for?
of
Because,
like, okay, this is a children's manga technically, but like,
mhm. Yeah. Well, you don't even see, like, you. I'm like trying to think if I've ever seen people kissing in, like in Sailor Moon, I guess. That's like the closest thing I can think of, where there's also similar, like they also have some romances that are not necessarily commonly accepted,
Mhm.
and they don't show those people getting touchy feely. I don't think.
Right. It's true that it is definitely a like audience thing. I guess.
But I think it's also a times thing. Like they don't show any touchy feely anything at all, really. They in CCS they show people holding hands, they show people touching each other's faces. That's it. Well, they show them carrying each other,
Yeah.
like fainting, right?
They
Like
show
that's it. That's
Nakaru
the extent
jumping
of
on
it.
Toya.
Yeah, but obviously they're romantic when she's like piggybacking him that
Yeah.
way, or being piggybacked by, like forcing him to piggyback, give her a piggyback,
Yeah.
right? Give them.
I guess words, they're
I
hard.
want I want a little clarification.
my
Yeah.
my brain wants to compare it to something that is very unlike CC. I mean, it's like tonally, I think Steven Universe would be my like present day comparison, which I assume you have not seen. But
No, I haven't.
Steven Universe also is. How can I explain Steven Universe to somebody who doesn't know what Steven Universe is? Like, it's about these aliens who've come to Earth called gems. They're all female presenting. A human dude falls in love with one of them, so they have a half human, half gem child who is a male child, but it very much explores, since it's like a heavily female society, it explores like forbidden love between a human and a gem. It's very queer. It's very, very much like cheerful, but also deals with heavy issues like depression and like doing those sacrificial things. It does pay homage to. It might pay homage to CCS, but I can't really overtly remember that. But it does pay homage to other anime, most notably like Utena, stuff like that. So it's clearly like has origins in sort of a magical girl anime feel. And it is for children, but it's very much, it is also American and 20 years later.
Okay. But Clamp style is very much let people figure it out on their own, right? Like I mentioned that earlier, they love. I mean, some things they just make it super obvious for us, but like when it comes to the feelings, they're like they show us enough, and then they let us figure out the rest. And like they don't make any judgments on any of the relationships that occur. Like there's none of that, right? Like all of that comes from us as readers, and they I think do that on purpose. They're like setting up all these relationships. Some of them are socially acceptable, some of them are not, but they just let us. They give us the same exact. They present them to us exactly the same way, and we, as readers, view them through whatever lens that we have and judge them ourselves.
Yes. Which I think has pros and cons.
Like the student-teacher relationship, like that. Rika is a very important friend to Sakura and helps her figure out her feelings. And she only can help her figure out her feelings because she has feelings for her teacher, right? So, like,
Right.
we might be uncomfortable with a 10-year-old having a relationship with a 20-something-year-old teacher, but Clamp leaves all that judgment out. And, like, Sakura is very accepting of Rika's relationship, too. Like, she finds out that her friend is dating someone who has a job, right? So that,
Right.
I mean, they don't go into it. They don't go into, like, oh, is it a full-time job or, like, part-time job? Because her brother sure has a job, right? He has, like, 90 jobs everywhere. But they don't go into that. But, like, Sakura clearly knows that Rika's seeing someone older enough to comment on it. But that relationship is just, whatever. Sam just puts it in there, and we're
Right. Obviously, I think they obfuscate it from Sakura partially because they're like, yeah, real humans probably wouldn't be cool with this.
I don't know. I mean, I guess they don't. I guess they do it on purpose to leave it out because that's not the important thing.
They're not. Yeah, that's not the important thing that they're trying to get out of that relationship either.
Yeah, but I'm also wondering if they're normalizing it so that it's
Right.
more acceptable. But I think what they're actually doing is just leaving it up to us.
Don't trust me, Clamp. You don't know me. You don't know me.
Well, I think they like making us think and like putting in things that are taboo and not accepted by most of society, and just letting us go at it with our own, whatever.
Yeah.
We're discussing this a lot. I mean, and we discussed it last time too. So it's like something that people think about, and
Clearly.
maybe that's all they want us to do.
All right, I'm
Maybe
thinking.
that's all they want us to do. Think about it. Yeah, I mean, there's another student-teacher relationship with Erio and Kaho,
Oh yeah.
and like she had one with Toya too, right? So like, there's a lot of that in this particular series, and I think like with Erio, it's a
Ariel's
little.
confusing because he's the reincarnation of an old man.
Yeah, he's a reincarnation of an old man, but also they say something about him like staying a child
Yeah.
so that he can become Sakura's classmate. Like, so he has apparently been alive for a long time, but has put himself into stasis so that he can just be the same age as Sakura when she's that
Right.
age. So like, I guess that is better, but he's still physically a boy, and he's in a relationship with someone who's his teacher. And yes, she's only a substitute, and yes, he's only a transfer, and he transfers, blah, 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 whatever. But,
No,
like,
those things don't matter.
right, so if we center everything around Sakura, which, again, this whole thing is centered around her, she eventually, okay, I'm skipping ahead to their arc, but she knows they're very close. Like, Ryu has that gathering at his house where like he finally tells everyone what's happening, and at the very end, and like Tahoe shows up, right? And it's like clear that they're very close, and Sakura just accepts it, even though this is her classmate and her teacher.
Anyway, I guess we can talk about Ariel since he's all like, hey, Sakura, let's have a little final battle thing.
Mm-hmm.
I actually can't really remember how this plays out because I read it a week ago when we were supposed to record.
Sorry,
You can explain.
sorry. Okay, so she still has a few conference where she hasn't been informed yet, and he causes it looks like an eclipse, but it's at night, so I'm
A lunar
not
eclipse?
sure
Is
what
that a thing?
exactly he makes.
Okay.
It is a thing. It is a thing.
Sure.
Sure, let's call it that. So he causes everyone to fall asleep, and he causes like it to be completely dark. And he tells her, if you do not break my spell, everyone's going to keep sleeping forever. But like Tomoyo and Sharon are with her, and Tomoyo's asleep, of course, and even Sharon's not unaffected. He's struggling to stay awake. And then the whole thing where Sakura doesn't want to attack someone that's been her friend comes out again. It's very similar to the final judgment in that she
Mhm.
doesn't feel right attacking. But in the process of this battle, she transforms a few more cards, and then she realizes that like what she needs is the light card. So she pulls out the light card, and then she doesn't have the power to transform it. And then she gets the information that she actually has to transform both the light and the dark card together because they're a matched pair. And she definitely doesn't have the power to do that because she can't even transform one more card. How can she do two more cards?
That's just math.
Of course, right? Yes, yes. She gets help from her guardians who basically are like, okay, we're going to trust you and we're going to put our power into the stack. And she asks them, oh no, what's going to happen if I can't break the spell? And they're like, well, we'll be stuck in the stack forever. But we believe in you. We believe in you. You can do this. So we're gonna put our power in to help you transform the cards. And she, of course, is very frightened because she's already losing everyone else. She can't imagine losing two more people. But she eventually accepts that that's what they're going to do to help her out and help everyone because it's either lose those two or lose everyone. And she's not willing to make that sacrifice. So those two transform into the wand, give her more power. It's still not enough. And Sharon comes and helps her out. And I do still love him. Like he already weakened himself by trying to use magic to save her from the fall earlier, and Eddie was like, "Oh, in that state, you really shouldn't be using magic. If you use magic, you're definitely going to push yourself over that threshold." So he like steps up behind her and is helping Sakura transform the last two cards. And he does fall asleep because he gives her the rest of the power that he has, and she's completely torn and upset. But then she realizes that like all of her friends are trusting in her, and she also like the cards are trusting her and trying to help her, and she finds that magical faith in herself, and that I can do this mentality comes out, and she does it. And it's magic. So she uses the light card, and she breaks a spell, and everyone's awakened eventually. Oh, and her brother fell asleep. Oh
Oh
my
no, not
gosh.
Toya, no.
Yeah, I know. Oh, that's when it's like real.
That's when
That
it's
he has no
real.
magic. It's real. Like he runs to her as he always does, but he actually can't do anything because he gave up his magic. But it's okay, he gave his magic to yeah, and he helps her, so I guess it all pays off.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the battle. It's very battle-y.
It is. And so she makes it very, very bright. And then she has to use the dark card because it's supposed to be nighttime. And the sun can't rise with the light already there.
Magic.
They're like, yeah, people are going to start waking up and it's too bright. So, bring back the night.
Right.
So she gets to use the dark card for the first time ever, I think.
Yep.
So that was pretty epic.
Okay, you thought it was epic. That's one word.
Hey, light and dark are always epic.
I think actually going into reading this, I had bled over feelings from the anime because I remembered them having I was like, oh no, then they're gonna go have a boring chat at Ariel's house, and I just don't care.
You're so funny.
But no, this final judgment round 2 was okay. I liked it. It was deep.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. Oh, it mirrored the final judgment in some ways, but it was also very different in that this time, the impact would be very different. Like before the final judgment, the curse that would have befallen everyone is that anyone involved with the progress would forget the person they loved the most, right? But they wouldn't know what they were missing. This time, it would be people would stay asleep forever,
right?
Which is very different. And I think the fact that it was someone she trusted and had been friends with in his own form. In the final judgment, it was Yuki transformed into some strange creature that I find beautiful, but Sakura at that point was in love with Yuki, so obviously, but it was very different in that sense, I think.
I actually think the biggest difference is that in the final judgment, she wasn't allowed to use any outside help, right? Versus this was please use all the outside help you can find. That's the true magic.
Yeah, that definitely is also true. She, even in the final judgment, a lot of the strength that she does pull out is because of the support that she gets from people.
Right.
In this battle, she definitely gets literal power from people. But I think a lot of her own inner power is always from the love she gives to people who love to give back to her. And the feelings of her self confidence is her sense of self and her sense of her capability is what usually pushes through to get her, on the other side of the challenges that she has to face. And that a lot comes from other people too, in a way. Because of the love that they give her, she has that strength, that inner strength, and she always wavers for it. She's always crying, I can't do this, and then she realizes that wait a second, I can. All these people love me and trust me and believe in me, and this time, I was stepping it up because they literally gave her power. But even before, when there was that restriction, she still pulled a lot of strength from the feelings that people have for her and that she has for them in return.
Yay, because magic is just love. Or love is magic. Both are true.
Hallmark card time.
And that's why this final battle is not actually the resolution of the series at all.
No, because love has
not happened. Love has not fully been realized yet. So we move on to the end, which is Syaoran and Sakura love story. It was a love story the whole time. You thought it was about magic. Pshaw! Get out.
I think part of why I like it so much is because it wasn't a love story the whole time, which is ironic because my tastes are towards
yeah, we're on romance. A Shojo manga podcast. I mean,
yeah. I guess also part of it is that back when I was 10 or 11, I didn't care as much about romance, and this time I knew it was coming. But yeah, the romance is classic Clamp again.
I haven't read enough Clamp. Yeah.
I haven't either. But let's just talk about the awesomeness that be the teddy bears.
Be teddy bears.
Crazy. I that's something that I've never gotten into, teddy bears. So.
So if a man hands you a handkerchief but then immediately gives you a teddy bear, you gotta back away.
I don't know, especially as a teddy bear on his tie. Is that what happened? I can't remember. There were just
there were a lot of. Isn't Sakura? No, Sakura is the one that wears it on her, because she gets it from Kaho.
She got a pin. Yeah, she got a pin. But then, like, her father gave her a bag that looked like a bear, too. I don't know. There were just too many bears all of a sudden. Like, Clamp, that's classic Clamp. Like, killing Motif.
Motif is overused. Teddy bears. Teddy bears, okay, yeah, genuinely the teddy bear has been in it since at least the start of these 6 volumes that we did. Because, isn't it, they initially see Rika building one for teacher guy. And then Sakura and Syaoran are both like, oh, we're going to make teddy bears for Yuki. And then they end up giving each other teddy bears.
Wait, you're jumping
I'm okay,
a lot.
my bad. There's too much like subtle teddy bear that happened through.
Yeah, there's actually multiple teddy bears,
right.
remember? Okay, so like you said, Rika's making a teddy bear, and then they hear a story that like if you give someone a teddy bear that you make, and that person names it after you, that is like
that's like the true engagement.
You'll love each other forever. But yeah, like you'll love each other forever or something like that. I don't know, like Asian people and their superstitions. I include myself also in that statement, by the way. I'm an Asian with superstitions. But anyway, so like hearing that, Sakura rushes to make a bear for Yuki, and then Syaoran actually isn't making a bear for Yuki. Is he at this point?
I thought he was. I thought the bear that he initially was making was for Yuki, and he accidentally leaves it with Yuki, and then like Yuki gives it to Sakura to give to Syaoran, and then Syaoran's like, no, you should keep it or something.
It might have been. I don't know, because he was starting to have feelings for her at this point too.
No, I think when he runs away, and the bear is left with Yuki, is the confrontation where Yue then appears and is like, no, you should think harder about this.
Okay, you might be right. But like, okay, anyway, so basically, they're making bears for the person that they love. And that starts the whole bear thing, but like the bear thing doesn't explode until the very end when they start confessing their love for each other. And then the bear thing really, really does
like,
and there are lots of bears. I mean, Kato-chan looks like a bear anyway. So.
I mean, that's the joke at one point, right? Like.
Yeah, so he was like the original thing.
He's a lion, okay. He's offended, okay? He's offended.
Yeah, he can be offended as he was. It's so true. He still looks like a bear.
Right, so, okay, so yes, so then Syaoran at some point, like, Sakura tries to give him back his teddy bear, and then he's like, no, you can keep it, and she's like, that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
So then she tries to give a teddy bear to Yuki, like a new teddy bear that she had made, yeah. And Yuki's like, no, you don't love me the most, like, that's not true, whatever. And then I guess at the end, Sakura decides to make Syaoran a different teddy bear.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't want to reuse teddy bears. That's so nice, kind, and considerate of her.
well, that's why I was kind of like, wait, did Syaoran really only make one bear and make
I think
it
so.
I can't remember.
Because when would he have had time? He didn't make another, like, he confessed to her without giving her a bear. And then he was like, I'm leaving. That's how it went down, I think. It's okay. Yeah. If we're wrong, people will yell at me.
I mean, I don't remember him making 2 bears, but I also can't remember, like, what happened first. His realizing his interest in her first, or, like, his making the bear first.
Oh, he definitely made the bear.
For Yuki?
Yeah.
Are you sure? No, because he, like, was
Do you want me to? I will get the volume. Give me a second.
We'll do it. I just can't. Okay, so Chiharu gives the bear first. And he...
Yes. Then
it pondering.
It goes to
He's
him.
Pondering.
No, but then Yuki comes.
Yeah, Yuki comes, but it's like a surprise. Like, he wasn't planning to give it to him.
It's true.
Right? He's just like,
but I think he made it to give to Yuki, but then is like, no, why should I? But now I'm confused. Yeah,
but then he thinks of her when he's like, right, exactly. That's my point. Like when he was making them, he was already confused.
No. I'm saying only in this giving part has he become confused. I think he made it with the intention to give to Yuki.
I sort of remember like when they were going to buy the bear. He was already, like, blushing and running away from her. which is obviously the sign of true love.
But he doesn't know that because he's oblivious.
He's also
Okay, wait. I want to talk about Yuki's shirt.
Wait, what shirt?
The one that says, well, maybe it doesn't say this in the Tokyo Pop version. We should compare. It says, I want to become happy with you.
Oh. On his shirt?
Yeah!
Wait, Ben. What page?
What page? Oh, God. I think it's in... Ugh, this is Omnibus, man. I don't know. Okay. It's page, 173 in volume something. But yeah, in the Dark Horse version, it is, I want to become happy
I don't think
with
they
you.
edit their clothes. That just seems weird.
I don't know. That's what his shirt says, and it's both great and terrible. I had to derail the conversation with that.
Yeah, he's clearly wearing that shirt for Toya, though, obviously.
100%. Although it has the, crown and the wings, symbol.
Wait, the shirt does?
Yes!
Oh my gosh. Again, clamp killing motif.
Clamp killing motifs. Since, the beginning of Clamp.
Okay, but basically, Syaoran makes a bear, and he's confused about who he wants to give it to.
Okay, fine. We can settle
both agree on that.
We can agree. Yeah, I'll agree.
He wasn't thinking of a certain someone when he made the bear. I don't know if he was even thinking of a certain someone when he bought the material to make the bear. Because I'm pretty sure at that point he was already confused.
All right, maybe you're right. Maybe I'll concede the point.
He's confused since he saved her, remember, and called her by name. He's been confused since that, and now he's buying things.
Oh, fine.
That's why I'm so certain that he was already confused and he didn't purposefully buy the bear kit to make it for Yuki, because I think he was already what is this feeling? Why do I keep thinking of her?
What are feelings?
Why am I blushing and running away?
I only do that for Yuki. Oh, wait. Oh.
Yeah. And then he stops running away from him.
Oh, that's how you know. That's
Yeah, but I love how he gets all calm and awesome and cool after he confesses, and she's the one blushing and running away.
Right.
Anyway. Yeah.
So Sakura is oh wait, I do love Syaoran, and makes him a teddy bear because she
Very
realizes she's very sad that he's going to go away back to Hong Kong now that there's no magics to be fighting. But the real magic was love all along.
Yeah, but if that's the case, then he should have been allowed to stay.
I mean, he comes back.
Yeah, but
almost
then we learn later that he comes back. No. You said they're in 5th grade?
It's been, 2 years?
Yeah, that's not immediately.
Oh, it's immediately for the reader.
It is immediately for the reader, but it's 2 years for them.
Okay, that doesn't matter.
Alright. Well, before we get to the end, which is the beginning of the next arc, do we want to talk more about CCS original ending?
How many feels did it get? 10 out of 10 Doki Dokis?
Wait, what? is that our scale?
8.5 Doki Doki?
I don't know. I have a very, you know that I have a very strange connection with this series. I just can't rate it or be rational about it.
I can't be rational about it. I'm just so in love with it.
Yeah. I mean, there's just so much greatness in it, and so many awesome characters, and there's so much I get annoyed with all the, I know something, and I'm not going to tell you, blah, blah, blah. That does piss me off. I get it to a point in Erio's case, because he needs her to be threatened.
Right.
In order to transform the cards. But Toya, come on, just tell Yuki you know he's not human. Oh, so frustrating.
I mean, I guess I tried to justify it with it seemed that Toya was trying to imply that if Yuki figured it out on his own, then he wouldn't disappear.
No, he still needs power though.
That's what I was but that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel it's this. I feel maybe it's trying to build tension, but I just get frustrated instead of tense. Although, when I'm frustrated, I get tense too. But anyway. But Kaho also has that, and Toya has that in other ways, right? But that, like, only in the case with Yuki does it get frustrating for me. Like, Toya always knows more than he lets on, especially with the mirror card, and we see that again when Sakura is out, like during that fever thing when she's supposed to be in bed and she gets the mirror card to pretend to be her, and Toya knows that she's not consistent. But like his knowing in that situation is completely different than his knowing later in like with Yuki and not actually coming forward with it. Like his hiding his knowledge from Sakura is very I don't know. It doesn't.
Well, there's a difference because in the moment where Toya knows that it's the mirror card, it's kind of like, okay, what's Toya gonna do that's gonna benefit the situation, really? Like, he's not gonna run after Sakura and do anything.
Right.
Whereas in Yuki's situation, it seems like he could do something.
If she knows that he knows, nothing else is really going to change either.
It seems like that could actually affect the outcome of how Yuki's life goes versus.
I guess that's you got it, Ashley. You understand me.
I understand.
You can put words
Sometimes
to my
I pretend
thoughts.
I understand.
Yeah, but Edio's character and Kaho's character, they're always like, I know things, but I can't tell you. And it's just like, oh, no wonder why you love each other.
No wonder you love each other. It's true, they're perfect.
Oh, that's so annoying. Oh. Anything else?
No, I think I'm good. You want to take this love quiz? It's going to be really fun.
Sure. Oh, wait. There was one more thing.
Oh, okay.
The thing about, like, being number one.
Oh. I mean, I think it's very interesting motivation because, I mean, we've already established that Ariel's not evil, but, like, the motivations in this, I think it's also part of the, like, I have struggled with this storytelling method. Not that it's bad, it's just very unconventional in that it's like, Sakura is trying to turn these cards into her own cards, but, like, she has hardly any interest in that, I feel. Like, she's just kind of like, I'm doing it because people around me are disappearing. Like, she doesn't really care about making the cards her own.
Well, first of all, like, she didn't know that was a possibility at first, and then I think everything else is just so much more important.
Yeah.
And, like, she's also 10, and she doesn't necessarily feel like she needs that ownership, right? Like, she will transform the cards as needed, but she knows that, like...
Right, it's not a quest to, like the first arc is, like, I must go collect the cards, but she only really collects them still when they, like, make trouble. Whereas this feels even more passive, like, I definitely only transform them if, like, you threaten to drown me.
Well, she only it's not like she went looking for the cards. She only collected the cards when they made their presence known because they were being problematic.
Yeah.
Right? So I guess it's still the same in that, although now, like, she's just using whatever cards she needs to battle whatever the situation is. And I loved how she used the glow card at Shrine. Well, that Shrine is, like, so full of events. There's only like 3 locations in this whole series. There's Penguin Park,
school.
There's school, and there's the shrine. Oh, we forgot the tower.
There's 5 locations.
My bad, 5 locations. What was my point? Did I have
collecting cards? See, yeah, I brought it back.
Yeah, thanks. So, like, she doesn't really have a goal. I don't think she felt like, even when she was collecting the flower cards, it was that she had to prevent them from doing bad things. So I don't think she's ever really been motivated by, like, she's not power hungry, and it's not like she's doing any of it for her own sake. So it's always, in both cases, she's just doing what she needs to do.
Right.
Whereas
Clow, I mean, we don't see how Clow becomes the greatest magician in the world, but, like, you assume that he has some motivations that are not as passive.
We don't know if it was just an inborn gift, right? Because
that's true, because the way that Sakura now becomes the greatest magician is just through all this passive crap that she had to do.
It's not, I wouldn't call it passive, it's not passive, it's just that, like, circumstances forced her to grow. So maybe in Cloud's life, long as it was, because apparently he lived through some centuries and centuries before he decided it was time for him to die, like, maybe circumstances pushed him to keep growing and growing and growing, and eventually he just outgrew everyone. But in the trying to, like, split himself so that he would no longer be the strongest in the world, and failing to do that, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that must have sucked. But he knew he was gonna fail, right? Because he could tell the future, and oh my gosh, it's just so
Yeah,
convoluted.
right.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
worst,
But
telling the future.
I appreciated Clam's like emphasis on, even though he was like the most powerful magician, he could tell the future. He couldn't tell how people were going to feel and who people would love. Like he couldn't predict the human.
Right. Which is like, okay, sure, cool.
Yes,
Duh, because
yes.
motifs of literature. Because
Because in his plan, Yuki and
I
Sakura
guess,
would have been a pair,
right. So,
and then Syaoran wouldn't have even set foot in Japan.
yeah. Right. So those are both interesting motivations from a stereotypical storytelling point
hmm
where everybody normally wants to be the best. And it's true that I don't really mean passive, but I'm thinking of stuff like, I'll bring it back to the Hunger Games. Like, there are people that dislike the Hunger Games precisely for this reason, in that, like, people argue that Katniss is not really a character. Katniss is a person
hmm
who, like, stuff happens to and she reacts to it in a way that's, like, many people interpret as heroic, but people who are like, she does not do anything of her own volition, find frustrating.
See, I don't feel that way. I feel like people who are living their lives and then step up to the plate when it's necessary are just as heroic as those people who are trying to be heroes in like in a more active way, where they're like going to the problems and going to, you know, try to solve those issues.
I am not a person who would put judgment on that,
hmm
especially since I do love Katniss Everdeen to death. But like, I think it's a particular argument, especially for female characters, because it is a more gendered thing where male characters are more likely to be like, I actively want to be the hero in this story. I'm going to usually succeed, even if I have
hmm
stumbles along the way. Like, I'm going to succeed at being the hero in the story. Whereas girls are always like, this typical storytelling is like, yeah, they don't like have as many motivations. Maybe they do cool things, but it's much more of a like, because circumstances ask them to step up to the
Yeah, but
plate,
it's
which is
also a
also
type of
like a
motivation, right?
sort of like motherly
It
thing.
is a very gender thing. Like princes are expected to go on quests to rescue princesses who are waiting in their towers, right? Basically. So I see your point and I see those people's points, but we're just, I mean, she's a 10-year-old girl trying to live her life.
Because you're
Like,
like,
she's literally a
stop
10 year
putting
old
all
girl
this pressure on
who was normal
her.
to her knowledge, right? And no. Like,
Does she know that?
before,
She knows she has
like, volume
magic. I
one,
mean,
she
come
did not understand magic,
on.
right? Volume one, she
Okay.
is just a normal girl. So,
Okay.
she's a 10-year-old girl and she's reacting heroically to what happens to her, right? And I feel like people who actively seek out opportunities to be heroic are fantastic and brave and wonderful. But I also feel that people who react heroically to unexpected things that force some, like, you can just sit there and let the world fall apart, right? Like, you don't have to step up to the plate. So the fact that
Mm-hmm.
people do in those circumstances, those unexpected circumstances, I find wonderful. Like, I have the greatest respect for people in professions such as like first responders, EMTs, firefighters, police, where they receive the training and the like are putting themselves in place to respond to awful situations and be heroic in
Mm-hmm.
those situations. But also like when people just normal people making that choice, even though it's not something that they found to be like a calling or like enough to motivate them to do it as a profession, that's still really important and validly heroic in my mind. And I think, like, especially in a 10-year-old girl, just stepping up to the plate in the way that she does is beyond belief. Like, she has to go through so much, and she does it.
Way to go, Sakura. You've had more life experience than I have, and you're like
Woohoo!
half my
Oh,
age. Woohoo! Good job. I actually really, I wish, whatever. I wish like CCS follow them 10 years later when they have jobs and stuff and just be like, yeah, life sucks.
Yeah.
Capitalism
Yeah.
sucks. Table flip. Magic can't save me.
Oh, but then
They go on reality TV
that would be
shows like
horrific.
Penn and Tellers.
Oh, but that would be so weird. I still believe in
It'd be
them. I still
hilarious.
believe that they would be them in that situation. I believe in her too, with her magic spell
Yeah.
of everything being okay eventually.
Yeah. So I mean, it's also an inversion of, in the way that like they're not seeking to be the heroes. It's also telling the story of like, yeah, here's kind of the curse of being number one at everything. Like maybe it's not all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah,
Maybe.
and someone literally choosing to give up that number one position because it is a curse is definitely something we don't often see in literature or in the media or in life.
Yeah. So in that way, it's interesting. I dig
Hmm.
it.
I really appreciate that. And I think that the responsibility and the weight that Clow felt is very well conveyed, even though it's conveyed in a very short scene
Hmm.
that you found boring apparently in the anime.
I did. I thought it was really boring.
Yeah, but you were also like 10.
I mean, no, I watched it pretty recently, like within
Oh,
the
did you?
past couple
Okay.
years. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, knowing visually what people are going to do, that sounds pretty boring and sucky for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that like in the, I guess Sakura's pursuit of like happiness is gaining her so much power,
Hmm.
and power that she never asked for, power that she didn't expect, like or want, or she has no use for it. Like she doesn't use her powers except when she needs to.
Hmm.
And I feel like when they're worried about her becoming able to tell the future without wanting to, I think that was like really important for them to cover because that was like the major reason they gave for Cloud wanting to lose, to give up some of his power and to split it up. Like there's a lot of responsibility if you're that powerful, right? And when Cloud made Yuan Kero, like he then became connected to them and had relationships with them, and then he felt responsible for them when he, even when he decided that he needed to die,
Uh-huh.
basically, like he couldn't just leave them stranded. So he planned everything so that they would have a guardian, or they would have a master that they could serve and be fulfilled and be happy.
Hmm.
So I don't
Yeah.
know.
And I guess like that trope in itself is not terribly uncommon. Like the trope of like I must have a predecessor for my powers is not
Hmm.
terribly uncommon. What I think is refreshing about it is also that Clow is like, yep, now you're the most powerful magician.
Hmm.
You don't have to be able to see the future if you don't want to. And, like, based on my experiences, maybe you don't want to. Like, cool,
Yeah,
huh? Like,
yeah. But I think it was also very great how by giving up power, like both of the people that the power was split into benefited from it.
yeah,
Because now Erio didn't have to be burdened with the future,
yeah.
and Sakura's father could see his life, which is kind of scary and creepy, or it could be. I mean, I don't, the way Clamp did it wasn't creepy to
Yeah.
me, but I could see how it could become kind of creepy.
Yeah. I don't think that they would go there, but
I mean, she's a spirit, so it's not
yeah.
like you can ask for physical stuff.
Yeah. He just, like, gonna talk to her a lot.
Yeah, but I think that I mean, my main takeaway from like the whole cloud thing was like reincarnations are not their original selves, and that the like when Via was really struggling with like why did you make me choose a new master,
Hmm.
I thought that was really a powerful discussion. Like even though I have all of his memories, that doesn't make me him. The memories don't even make me. Just like remembering his life doesn't make me him, and I'm still not the right person for you.
Hmm.
And that scene is also where we first get that glimpse that like Yua's relationship with Cloud was not just strictly master servant.
Hmm.
that it was a little more than that, because Hero doesn't have that relationship with Cloud to that extent.
Yeah. Oh, poor
And
curmudgeon Yue.
yeah, and Cloud wasn't as worried about him, which is why the final judgment had to be given by So, it's just
Oh,
interesting.
yeah. No, it is. Because I feel like that's also not a trope that's normally seen. Like, it's not normally
Mhm.
like, and I don't accept the new successor as my master. It's not like a super common thing.
Mhm. Mhm. She had to earn that right, and it wasn't that like I think Cloud was more worried not about his power, but about like the cards because he wanted the cards to be happy. That's why the disaster that would happen to the world if the Cloud cards weren't collected and sealed was that they and everyone who was associated with them would forget the person they love the most because that person would be their master. So like the whole time, Cloud was trying to protect everyone, and it wasn't about like making sure he had a successor and a legacy. It was more about making sure he could protect everyone as much as he could with the power that he had, which is a lot of power. He was able to protect a lot of crap.
Oh, that old man.
And I also enjoy how it's not like the blood that tells who is going to be the successor, because Syaoran is like the great whatever descendant of Bao,
Yeah.
but he's not the one who inherits the power.
Nope.
And like in the manga, he's not even a real contender. He's just there to like I don't know what he's there for.
To be in love with
Like he becomes a
Sakura.
great. I mean, he becomes a great support for
Yeah.
her, but he doesn't really put in the effort to like try to collect the power cards the way he does in the anime.
He made like, yeah. That was immediately shot down in the manga. I was like, oh, that's not going to be a thing. Okay.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. There were some things that I'm like, why did you include that in the anime? Like, why? That's just
They were like, we need to make
unnecessary.
70 episodes.
Yeah.
Okay. Love quiz time.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Who are you gonna take it as?
Oh my god. Okay, who do you want to take
We
it
can do
as?
both. We can do
We
both.
can do both. That's true. We could do both. Okay. Who should I be? Who do I know better? Who do you feel you know better?
I don't know.
Okay, so wait, we gotta explain it to the listeners. This quiz is, are you ready for a long distance relationship? So, I'll be Syaoran. You be Sakura?
Sure.
Okay.
This is from Teen Vogue, so obviously
Obviously
it's
it's
a
real.
very, very reputable and trustworthy quiz that we're
I
about to
know.
take here. Alright,
Yep.
so it says Taylor Swift once sang, "It's a love story, just say yes, ha ha ha." But if we've learned anything from the inspirational and often lovesick songstress, it's that not all romances are meant to last. Sorry, Harry Styles. So do you and your boo have what it takes to go the distance? Answer these questions to find out for sure if you two are meant to be.
I love it.
I'm ready.
And then the first question is, how do you communicate? Okay.
So we're putting ourselves into their shoes.
Yes, and we're, in the long distance relationship. So
Yes.
I'm in Hong
Okay.
Kong.
So obviously we only talk in person doesn't work.
No, obviously not.
Mostly texting. We prefer phone calls any way possible. Wow, Skype wasn't invented
No,
when
yo,
they
listen.
were
No.
what?
I'm gonna click it anyway. I'm picking that answer any way possible because I love you so much, Sakura.
I mean I agree, but okay.
Next
I doubt they
question.
communicated through like magical pools of water, which I wish they had.
Yeah, I mean, see, it's fine. Do you guys get jealous of one another? Okay, the answers are, we both can get a little jelly for no reason on occasion, but can you blame me? Who has the time for that? I'm living my own life. Ladies better watch out or I'll step off my man. Or step up off my man. I can't read. This is this is the key thing.
I don't feel like any of these work.
Oh my god, I'm gonna click. Who has time for that?
Who has
I'm
time for
living
that?
my own.
Wait, you're Sharon? He would not say that.
Okay.
Come on. He can't do that.
Well then, yeah, then none of them work. I'll click the last one. Ladies better watch out. Done. I love it.
I'll do on occasion, but can you blame me?
Okay, great.
Okay.
I mean, you still are around, all the Yukitos and the other cuties or whatever. Maybe you crush on Yue now. I don't know.
Alright. How do you like to spend your alone time? I like seeing friends and interacting with new people. I love to start a new project, anything productive. What alone time? I'm always with my boyfriend. I like binge watching my favorite shows, but it's better when my boyfriend's around. Okay. For Sakura, it would definitely be the first one.
Oh, so you think it shouldn't be
Right?
that for Syaoran? I guess he doesn't like people.
Seeing friends and interacting with new people, that's so him, obviously.
I guess he hates people.
And this is obviously only for girls. What is this?
Oh yeah,
Girls
it's totally
with
made for
boyfriends.
girls. I'm
Oh,
gonna click the things anyway.
we shouldn't support this. It's so like, what is that called? I don't know what it's called. I'm too tired for this. It's too like normal, whatever.
Heteronormative.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that.
there we go. I got you.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna click. I
Yeah.
love to start a new project.
Okay. All right. How tech obsessed are you? If I could have my phone surgically implanted in my body, I totally would do it. I try to keep my tech time to a minimum. IRL is so much better. It took me a second to realize that's in real life.
Yes.
Okay. My friends say I'm a little hard to get a hold of. I'm social media obsessed and I sleep with my phone under my pillow. Wow. None of these would work because social media didn't exist.
Okay, you're getting really pedantic.
Well, it is
Tomoyo gives them like the newest cell phones. They clearly
That is
do
true.
like tech.
Yeah, but they're not very good at using it.
Okay, so then
All
my
right.
friends say I'm a little hard to get a hold of. Clicked.
Hmm.
Done.
I'm gonna do. I try to keep my tech time to a minimum. In real life, is so much better.
Okay, there you
So I
go.
feel like that would work. They would. I think they would
See.
feel that way. Yeah. All right. What's your schedule like? I'm constantly booked solid. Classes and my sorority keep me pretty swamped, but I can still let loose. Oh my gosh, Teen Vogue. Really? Teen Vogue? Alright. Free as a bird. I determine my own schedule. I like to keep busy, but I make time for the important things. I like that one for her.
I like that for Syaoran too. Okay, I'm clicking it.
Good. Alright. Good. Alright, next question. Honesty is ... question mark. Subjective? Really? Important but not necessary. Wow. Typically the right route to go. The best policy.
Okay, you know what Toya thinks is it's definitely important but not necessary.
Yeah, but we're not being
I know
him.
we're not being Toya. Probably typically how is typically the right route to go and the best policy? I guess typically leaves some room
Typically is a little less.
for ambiguity.
Yeah, I think Syaoran would actually say typically.
I was gonna click that for him. Clicked.
I think Sakura would say the best policy. Wait, no, she wouldn't. She would also do typically the right route to go. Because if it hurts other people, she'll lie. As we saw with
true.
Yuki.
See?
Although he knew, so like, who was she being dishonest to? Anyway, your boyfriend doesn't contact you for 2 days. You ... Get upset, but let it go. Tell him you were worried and ask him to give you a heads up if he's busy in the future. Freak out. Seriously, who does he think he is? Keep it to yourself.
Definitely not freak out.
I don't know about the keep it to yourself.
Yeah, no, probably not that one.
Tell him you were worried.
Yeah, I'm going with that one.
Alright. Have you defined your relationship? At length. No two people have ever been more in sync. Clearly not that one. Not intensely, but we understand each other. Yep, we're exclusive and committed. Not really, we don't like labels. Ooh, Ashley.
I kind of would actually go with the not intensely. But we understand each other.
But they're 10. And he does ask her to wait.
So you want to go with yep, we're exclusive and committed? Is that better when they're 10? Is that... Also, I'm pretty sure they're 11.
Better, but I feel like... Oh, wow. But I feel like that's kind of the case. Like, they both feel that way.
Alright, fine, I'll click it. Yep.
Okay. How do you feel about travel? Ugh, but I just got here. No. As long as I can afford it. If I have to, I'll do it. I love to visit new places. I don't know. She doesn't talk about traveling much because she never does travel, to my knowledge. What do you think? You didn't just get there.
I feel like Syaoran would do if I have to, I'll do it.
I agree.
Click.
But, I mean, it's like, I don't know. How are we supposed to know this? They're ugh. Alright,
Jessica, you read?
Choose that.
Tsubasa. They go to lots of different places. If
Yeah,
I can
but
afford
that's
it.
not them. That's not them.
Totally is.
Remember, it's not
You're right.
them.
It's the third incarnation of them.
Alright, next question. Do you see a future with your long-distance love? Hopefully, exclamation point. I feel pretty confident, but I've never done this before. I can't see past what I'm having for lunch. Definitely, this is the one.
I'm gonna go with I feel pretty confident.
Really? That's no.
No!
It's definitely this is the
Definitely
one.
this is the one. That's what you want me to click?
It's either hopefully or definitely.
Alright, I'm gonna click definitely then.
Me too.
Okay, we got answers. Did we get the same answer? I got absolutely.
Oh damn! I only got probably.
Oh snap, Sakura!
You're both coming into this with a realistic approach, which is great. As long as you stay committed to each other, you'll be golden. Ooh, damn.
Wow. Okay, I got absolutely. It's like you've been training your entire life to be in a long distance relationship. This new stage will help shape you as an individual and a couple. Good luck. Not that you need it.
Oh, that's adorable.
I love you more than you love me. That's what we found out. Okay, great.
Well, I've never traveled. I've lived in the same place my whole life.
I know, so you weren't prepared for the long distance. I know, I understand.
And like everyone I've ever loved has been close to me.
I know. I'm a new person from Hong Kong. I get it. Okay, shipping corner. Ships. Who's your OTP? Let's just start with that.
Oh, but there's so many.
Oh, well, okay. Do you want to pick two? You want top
Yes,
three?
I can do two. I can do two.
Okay.
Okay, I can do two. You can probably guess which two.
Is it Syaoran and Sakura? I'm gonna go with one.
Yep.
And then Toya and Yuki.
Yay! I'm so obvious.
Ding, ding, ding. I got it. I mean, those would probably be my top two as well. They so legit.
They are, I believe.
I guess we've kind of mentioned all of these as ships already. So is there anyone that you really wish was like not? Who's your least favorite ship?
Okay, so I am a fan of the Yamazaki and Chiharu relationship. I find them adorable and like really, really cute. I'm a little too icked out by the rest of them. The teacher student thing, that's just too icky. Like Hiro and Kaho again is a little potentially less icky because he's actually lived a long time and he has centuries of memories apparently.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a little less icky, although he's a boy in a boy's body and she's like double his height.
Yeah, that part's the weird part.
Yeah, and like in the eyes of society, that's just wrong. But I do like that Clamp flips it so that they have two teacher-student relationships, although two and a half maybe with Toya and Tahoe, where the teacher is a man in one and a woman in the other. I kind of like that, just for like, does it make a difference to me? I don't think so. I still find it but like, I like that I even have to think about it. That like, oh, doesn't change anything if the much older teacher is a man versus a woman.
Yeah.
But to me, like the reason why the Kaho video is a little better, is because like the fact that they keep saying Rika's very mature and like blah blah blah, but he's a reincarnation of a man with hundreds of years of life, and he's been holding himself in stasis for a very long time so that he could be the same age as Sakura. So like, to me that's more than like, oh, she's just very mature. But I still find it like, teacher student thing. Like physically he's a boy and she's a girl woman, and I don't know.
Yep. Precisely.
Yep. And then like Sakura's mom and dad, they were also a teacher student, so it's like
they really like teachers and students.
Yeah, it's like three whole relationships if we make Kaho and Toya half and their parents half.
Yep.
I mean, at least she was 16. I don't know. Does that make it any better? Because
it might.
Technically, as a 16-year-old female, you're basically like, you could physically be almost mature.
Yeah.
I don't know. But like, okay, maybe it's too much of like brain and whatever development knowledge in me, but I know that like people aren't thinking the same as other adults until they're past their like mid-20s.
Yeah.
So I'm just like,
Like, we've only recently become, like, mature people.
yeah. Apparently, although we still, I don't know, I don't feel all that different to you. So maybe it would have been okay. I don't know.
No.
I don't know. It's it gets blurry.
That's what Clamp wants.
It is.
Just getting into what
It's
they
it's
want.
at least thought provoking, if nothing else. I also, for me, a huge part of the ick factor is that like their relationship is teacher student, right? In the case of Rika
Right.
and
So,
the
like,
teacher,
if he
like
was just a teacher and she was a student, but they were not teachers and students of each other, that would be, like,
right,
different.
a
Yeah.
little better.
Yeah.
Like that's why Sakura's parents is a little less icky in some ways to me because they didn't meet as like she fell out of a tree,
Yeah.
right? Like that was their
Right.
initial relationship,
Yes.
and they fell in love immediately, is my understanding.
I
Like
mean,
they,
I don't understand how you can't fall in love with somebody who falls out of a tree on you and is
yeah,
like, hi.
and she's gorgeous, smiling at you,
Yeah.
and like what's not to fall in love with? But I don't know. I guess there are a lot of teacher-student relationships in this. It is more than I originally realized.
Yep.
But the also I mentioned being a little kind of like I don't think I'm like that, but it did cross my mind as to whether I was like that by Sakura's father and mother and the relationship past her death. Like I actually kind of like the idea that they still love each other and can communicate slash sense each other. Like I guess the romantic in me
Yep.
appreciates that like their love is continuing past her like very young death.
Yeah. I mean, that's nice. I'm a
Yeah,
romantic. I dig it. It's fine.
yeah. And like even though Toya lost the ability to see her, now his daughter has the ability.
I know, but that kind of feels like a smack in the face after he was like, well, nobody else can, so it's unfair. And then his dad is like, ha!
Well, I think it's more like it was unfair because of the two children. He knew their mother for longer, and he could still feel her after her death.
Yeah.
I think that was more what he meant by it was unfair. Not that like because if you're siblings and you lose your mom, it's very different than if you lose your spouse,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm imagining it. Luckily, never
Like,
lost
that's how I
either.
would write it if I wrote stuff. Like, fair enough. So, do you have anyone that you wish was an actual real ship? I don't really.
I don't. I'm happy with the ships that are there, and as we discussed, kind of unhappy with some of the ships that are there. So yeah, I think I'm good with the ones that are there.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't add more. Although I guess like Nakaru could use a partner. Nakaru seems to really want someone, right? Like the
Right.
jealousy, like the fight for Toya.
Yeah.
She, he, they. I don't know what pronouns she used. They don't need more power, right?
Right.
Because Edo is strong enough to support his guardian,
Mm-hmm.
but like they enjoy teasing Toya and Yuki so much, and I think if I don't know, I can't remember a single character that I feel like would be a good match.
Right. I was like, I'm not against Nakaru having a person. I just don't know who that person would be of the people I've been
Right,
presented.
right, exactly. But I could see that being cool.
Yeah. So I think we're good on original CCS. Time to move on to Clear Card Arc.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna talk about Clear Card Arc.
So all you people who don't want
Yeah,
spoilers,
definitely run away now. Like, although it's only a volume 1, I don't know. It's just set up. Chill out.
yeah, there's not much spoiling going on. I don't think.
Okay, so it basically begins with an elongated end of the original series where Syaoran comes back and they hug and they're like, we'll be together forever. It starts slightly before that, and then Sakura runs into Syaoran on the way to school, and then it reenacts that scene with updated Clamp drawing style. um, and then yeah, they're all happy they go to school. But of course, things are amiss. Syaoran can't be there without things being amiss. I mean, Sakura still regularly talks to Ariel, and so the thing that is amiss is that all of the cards have become transparent, and
even more important,
what's the more important thing?
have power.
And have lost their power, yes. But then when Sakura has to go, again, fight things that are strange, she's turning them into completely new cards.
And she has a new staff.
And she has a new staff.
Again.
It
Every
has
arc,
more
there's a new
star
staff.
points. More points
Yeah,
of the star.
I was counting them. The staff itself has 7, but then like when it becomes a wand, it has 6. Did you notice
no.
that? Am I crazy? Am I crazy?
You're probably not.
Okay, well, whether or not I'm crazy, I'm pretty sure that happened.
Cool.
Yeah, try to take a look next time you see
Okay.
that stuff, will you?
I'll be more conscientious of counting next
Yep.
So in this volume, she changes 2 cards. The new cards are...
Or she creates 2 cards.
Yeah, whatever. She makes 2 cards. They are Gale and Siege, which are, that's very interesting.
Yeah. And I find it also very interesting that, like, the 2 years that have happened have been very quiet and slow. And she makes a comment about, like, oh, I haven't used my staff in a very long time. Like, her original Sakura card staff.
Yeah.
She, like, actually puts it away into a box.
Yeah.
And is thinking, like, oh, I haven't used this in a long time. Like, obviously, that's a sign that things are going to change when that happens in the manga. But I also found it interesting that her dream, of course she has.
Of course she has dreams. Duh.
Yeah. Was Tokyo Tower in it? So I didn't pay attention. Key point.
Key point. Right, and there is some new shady figure in her dreams that we do not know.
Mm-hmm.
It has not been made abundantly obvious yet.
Who it is? Yes. Yeah. Yes. Amazing, Clamp. You're
stepping it up.
You're giving us some. Yeah. You're giving us some actual like confusion. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess we could have been confused by motivation if we didn't know what drove Edo to do what he was doing for a very long time.
I mean, yeah.
And we could speculate, but we didn't actually know. But it's actually a mystery who this person is because there's no new transfer student or substitute teacher. Like, it's actually a mystery. But something, I guess this is what reminded me of how annoying I found it, was that, like you said, actually, Sakura's been in touch with Edo, and when she has her dream and this weird stuff starts happening, she contacts him.
Mm-hmm.
And what does he say?
Nothing.
Oh,
but he's talking to Syaoran.
Yes, but he calls Syaoran, and Syaoran is like, oh, yes, I have to tell her, and that's where we end the volume, and I'm pissed.
Oh, so mad. Soup's mad. Oops.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So that's interesting. So Syaoran and Ariel are apparently in cahoots about something.
Secret. That must be shared, but they haven't yet shared, and I'm like, I'm not okay with it.
Okay, so what are overall your general impressions? Are you digging it so far? Are you like, what is this? Why have you done this?
Okay, so part of me is super stoked still. Like, I'm really, really excited to see where they go with this.
Uh-huh.
But it's so strange. The artwork is so different, especially with the opening scene being the same scene as the closing scene of the original.
Yeah.
But it looking so different. Like, it's throwing me off. And I'm sure I'll get over it very soon, hopefully. I don't know if I'll get over it, because it is quite different. Like, the art is quite different. But also, like, the artwork has changed so much, so it's kind of hard for me to really adjust, like, our time difference with their time difference.
Yeah.
Like, the phone that she used in the original was, like, looked like a toy phone, right? And it had buttons, like, oh my god, multiple buttons, not just the one button.
Yeah.
And the phone that she uses in Clear Arc looks like an iPhone.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it just looks like an iPhone with the one button. So...
Yeah. I think these things are always very loosey-goosey when there's been a lot of time in the real world, but it's not supposed to be a lot of time in the story world.
Right. And, like, Sakura's mentioning things like, oh, I'm going to send pictures and text and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, wow, you didn't even have a real cell phone, and now you're sending text and photos to England.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not even just, like, local. It's international.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So a little part of like that was a little bit of what I was thinking, but I guess I was only thinking that because I was like forcing myself to think a little critically about it. Most of me is just super excited to see where this is going.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, the art doesn't bother me because I've gotten used to it at this point, having read 20 jillion volumes of Tsubasa. I mean, it's basically
But
that style.
I think it's more of a compromise. I think the Tsubasa style is much more shonen-y, while this is still this seems like a step back towards the shojo
Right,
style.
there's more flowers. Certainly.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's more flowers, and like there were,
But like the way that they shape their faces and stuff is the same.
I mean, there were some what same as Tsubasa or
Same
same
as
as the original.
Tsubasa.
Okay, yeah. Well, there was like this one panel where I was like, wow, he actually looks like they drew him very similarly to how they drew him originally. But then the next panel was like, nope,
Yeah, it's a
he
little
looks very
weird
different,
because I
right?
found that there
I think
was.
I think Syaoran is the one that they keep is the only person that I'm like Syaoran and Moyo, I think, are the two that I find like most resemble what I remember them to look like in the original. Maybe also the father.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
Yeah, he was pretty consistent. But I think like Toya looks pretty different.
Yeah,
Yue looks very
Toya
different, and
definitely
I'm
looks
not pleased.
like a
He looks
Tsubasa
different. Yeah,
reincarnation
he looks.
of them.
He's definitely drawn differently, and so's Yue, and I'm not happy because I feel like original Yue was drawn much more beautifully.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, the art is like an upgrade though, because original CCS is very, very angly shoulders. Like, it's just like, we're a box. And
Yeah,
I'm
but
like, now they're like,
their
got
clothes were very
curves.
90s. Yeah,
They draw like shadows under their, like, on their neck and stuff, where they didn't do that in the original.
but I feel like they don't give as much attention to the faces. I just feel like the faces aren't as well, like consistently drawn and as well drawn.
Yeah, I think the problem with Toya is that he definitely looks like he's just straight out of Tsubasa, whereas the others look
Hmm.
like, at times they look like they're out of the original, and then other times I'm like, no, that looks like it's out of Tsubasa.
Yeah, I think part of me is just like because it's supposed to be CCS.
Yeah.
I'm like, it doesn't look like it though, you know. And Sakura, I feel like her face is definitely like they're drawing her differently, and I think I'm mostly okay with that for some reason.
Mostly okay with that.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll have to see more and figure it out. But I'm excited, if a little frustrated by having to wait. But having more is great.
Great. Do you have any like predictions, hopes, dreams for how this goes down?
Yeah, well, I definitely hope to see more communication.
Okay.
Any communication would be great. Like, I don't like that Sakura's always left in the dark about things. I'd
But
like to see
it's
her.
already been set up that that doesn't look like it's true. Like Ariel and Shaoran are doing shady things.
No, 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 that's my point. But like, hopefully, maybe they'll actually bring her in on it very soon.
Ugh, I don't
There's
know how
hope.
confident
There's
I
hope.
am about that.
I wouldn't say I'm confident, but like, didn't Sharon say like, yes, I know I have to tell her? Maybe I don't
He
know.
did say
He's being
that,
so
but
shady.
that
He's being shady, and I'm sad. I'm a little disappointed, but like, hopefully there will be reason, and hopefully I'll be able to accept it.
I think yeah, it is a little disappointing to see Shaoran be seemingly a little duplicitous already. I'm like, "Ugh,
Yes,
no,
yes.
Shaoran, what are you doing?
Like not you too.
You just got here."
Yeah, you're supposed to be happy and in love forever. But okay, so when they started it with that scene, I was like, ah, shit. Obviously, this is not gonna. There's gonna be some drama and tension. So I'm looking forward to seeing them grow into a relationship together, Sakura and Sharon, because they never had that time when they were 10. Now that they're 12 or 13.
Yeah, now that they're like past like into a legit double digit range and are in the physically same area.
I think I'm interested to see how they develop that relationship because, like, before it was literally like, I just realized my feelings, I love you too,
Yeah.
I'm chasing after your bus,
Mhm.
right? And then we know that they kept in touch through letters. and maybe some social media. Who knows? um,
They Skyped all the
uh,
time.
oh yes, Skype all the time when it works. But I think that there's going to be some tension because they neither of them have any experience being in a relationship, and I think that there might be some growing pains, especially if Sharon's going to be shady anything.
Yeah. I mean, I look forward to that too. I think that's the only realistic thing. Like, it shouldn't be like, yep, we confessed our feelings and now, like,
Yeah,
good
and I
forever.
think some of what you right, and I think Clamp mentioned, or you mentioned that Clamp mentioned that like they use the two of them as the prototypes for two Tsubasa characters because they had too much of a happy ending. Like it was too easy
It's
for them.
too easy.
So I think isn't that
Did
what
I
you
say
said
that?
at some
Maybe.
point?
I don't really remember.
Like that you heard or read somewhere that like Sharon and Sakura needed to
Oh,
suffer more
that sounds legit.
because in CCS it was their lives were too easy and that's why Tsubasa was such a crazy.
I look forward to them bringing in all the Subasa characters. They're gonna meet them in this clear card
Whoa,
arc
whoa, whoa,
universe.
whoa, whoa, whoa! No, 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 no. Because remember, Tsubasa. Okay, they might meet some of them.
You're like, wait, it might actually
Maybe.
happen. I'm scared.
No, no, no. I think it'd be interesting, but I'm just trying to imagine how.
Oh, Clamp will make it happen.
Well, the mysterious figure could be what's his face from Tsubasa. What is his face? That dude,
God, oh,
villain.
the
Wait, or
yeah,
something.
I know who you're talking about. I
They
don't
make that
remember
up,
his name.
right? Like, oh, maybe he's gonna be the
Oh my
crossover
God.
character.
I really hope that doesn't happen, but
But
like, I wouldn't be shocked if it did.
well, but the problem with like Tsubasa's characters crossing over is that a lot of the Tsubasa characters weren't
Yeah, they're
original
already
characters.
crossover characters.
Yeah, so unless you mean like Hirogane or Faye,
Yeah.
but like it wouldn't make sense for them to cross over unless again it's not really them. It's like just a prototype. Ugh.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of perhaps Easter egg that happens in Clear Card Arc. Like, they're in the background of
Mhm.
some shot or something.
Yeah,
Just
true.
for the lulls.
That would be cool. But I think that like I'm most excited to see how the relationships are going to develop. Like you mentioned already that like we didn't see the fallout for Toya with his loss of power.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see some of that. Maybe we'll see some tension where like Yuki might still feel guilty and Toya's fed up with his guilt, or maybe I can't see him regretting that sacrifice ever. I don't see that in him because like just like the people in the Kinomoto family, they're so not that I can't see them regretting that type of sacrifice.
Right.
But I can see him getting fed up if he still feels guilty.
I did find it interesting that we were already told that Rika goes to a different middle school, right?
Mhm.
Is that, yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
Mm.
Yep. So maybe they're trying to like get that.
Yeah, I was like, are you trying to distance yourself, Clamp? You trying to get out of it?
No, I was actually thinking of it as like, oh, it's part of their
Oh, really? You
plan
think it's
so
part
that
of their
Rika
plan?
and Sensei can continue the
Mm,
relationship. Because now they're in a different system.
maybe.
Like I thought it was actually in line with the relationship continuing.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
He's now that they're not now that he's not a teacher in the system that she's a student in, it's a little less shady.
Hmm.
Theoretically. I still find it shady.
Shady.
Because they met as student teachers. Like, as far as I know.
Yeah.
If they met before that, she was like 9. She hasn't even hit puberty. Come on. Like, even as a 13-year-old, I don't know for sure if she's hit puberty. Come on.
Yup.
It's too much.
Yeah. I guess I might be a little sad if if the original cards are actually like,
Gone
yeah,
forever.
but they can't be,
I'm gonna
right?
be
Because they
pissed.
just
They
like,
can't be. No.
yeah.
I don't think that's possible because, like, they're the whole. I think the point of, like, what I said earlier about how Cow is so protective of the cards because they have feelings.
Yeah.
If they disappear, I'm gonna be pissed. And I'm like I'm kind of shocked that like Sakura's not more
Yeah.
like her concern did not seem easy. Like Mira was a real person too,
Yeah.
especially Mira. So I'm gonna be pissed if they don't come back.
It would be interesting to see if Sakura is like, okay, wait, I'm getting new cards, but like, where are where are the old cards? Like, I
Yeah.
really need them to come back. Like,
I mean, she still has the old cards. They're just all clear. So I'm
but then
hoping
they're
that
getting
like
overwritten with Gale and Siege.
no, those are forming
Oh,
from
they're forming from
like
new things?
yeah, yeah. No, I don't think they're overwriting. Like
Ah,
if you look back at that, it's like these phenomenon are coming up, and then what she says Sakura, and it converts into a card. But the card is appearing. It's not like she's
okay.
not holding a card and it's transforming, right?
Okay.
They don't think Gale is a replacement for Windy. I think it's just separate.
Yeah, I guess when Gale came up, I was like, okay. How's that? That's severely different
Yeah.
from Windy. Okay.
No, I think that I'm hoping that like her cards will come back because if not, I'll lose faith in
He'd be like,
DJ.
I'm done with this forever. Like
Oh no, 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 no. But
OG soccer or OG original Sakura forever.
yes, yes. No, I have faith. I have faith. I'm not gonna. They can't do that to the cards. And then like, what does that mean to like, yeah, and Kano? Like, if the cards are gone, what are they around for,
I
right?
don't
Like,
know.
come on, you can't do that.
All right, so we have high hopes for this clear card arc. I
So
don't
far,
think that there are that many. There's that much information about it. I do think it actually starts as an anime soon too, maybe.
yeah. What? Really?
I don't know. There's apparently a promo that exists. And I don't know that there's a date attached to this, but there is supposed to be an animes. That is faux show.
That's interesting. Yeah. I kind of wish, like, I like some of them. I wonder how the anime part is going to change now.
Oh, well, we could watch this promo.
I think,
I think.
but I do enjoy the clothes better in the new art. Like, I don't miss
Yeah.
90s clothes. I don't miss the box clothes.
Yeah, I think just overall the art style is, just more detailed.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm pleased. I don't need shadows on their
Okay,
necks.
whatever,
Like
man.
that does.
Their clothes are more detailed though too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't like their uniforms as much, but I mean, like the faces aren't as beautiful to me.
Ugh,
Not
okay, well I can't help you there.
like Yue is not as gorgeous anymore. Like even basing off of the like chapter cover thing, you know what I'm talking about, where they
Yeah,
like
yeah,
draw
yeah,
beautiful pictures. I still find them beautiful sometimes
yeah.
to me.
OMG. I mean, someday, hopefully, when Clear Card Arc ends, in like 3 years from now, we'll come back to that. Oy vey. Okay.
I mean, we are doing this like 10, 20 years after the original.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, see, this podcast only works because there's a built-up canon of classics and lesser classics that have already been completed. It takes so long for things that are currently publishing to come out in real time.
I know,
So
I
like,
know. But hey, volume two is going to be out in print in like January, I think, in the US. So there's hope,
yeah, it might go faster after the first one,
right?
maybe.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how many volumes there will be,
Yeah, I'm like, are we gonna stick to this like 6 format or?
or maybe stretch it out to 12.
Yeah, you're getting ambitious here. Okay. You're like, make this arc
Yeah,
plus
no,
another
it's okay.
arc. Like,
Well, there's like a whole new thing. Like she has to. My opinion is that she has to collect new cards or create new cards, and then somehow like get her
that's true.
old cards back.
She has 2
So
adventures to go on.
I see two arcs.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, again, maybe 2 years. 2 years we'll get.
Mhm. Mhm.
Depends on how fast this comes out and how quickly it ends. Cool. So thanks for listening to Shojo and Tell. Comments, questions, constructive criticism, concerns. Need to gush about your OTP? Email shoujoandtell@gmail.com or leave a comment on shoujoandtell.com. You can also tweet us at Shojo and Tell on Twitter or follow Shojo and Tell on Facebook. You see a theme. This is a new podcast, so it'd be great if you could leave a review on iTunes. This will help the podcast reach more hearts, or at least ears. Thanks again for listening. The next episode will cover the first half of Maid-sama. Maid-sama is my favorite manga, so, I don't really know why you need another reason to listen to that episode. Stay tuned. Until then, bye.
Bye.